The abandoned mother. The rain started at midnight. Cold. Relentless. The kind that soaks through everything. And in the corner of an empty parking lot, beneath a broken streetlight, a dog pressed herself against crumbling brick. She didn't whimper. She didn't search for shelter. She just wrapped her body around three tiny shapes and stayed perfectly still. Because moving meant exposing them. And exposing them meant losing them. What happened over the next 48 hours would shatter one woman's heart, then rebuild it in ways she never imagined. This is the story of Maya, the dog who refused to give up. And Sarah, the stranger who almost drove past. ## the wrong turn. Sarah wasn't supposed to be there. She had taken a wrong exit off the highway, frustrated and late for a meeting 2 towns over. Her GPS had failed. Her phone battery blinked red. The road she found herself on was industrial. Empty. Lined with warehouses that looked like they hadn't been used in years. Graffiti-covered metal doors. Windows were boarded up. Trash tumbled across cracked pavement. Sarah cursed under her breath and prepared to turn around. That's when her headlights swept across something near a dumpster. Movement. Small. Low to the ground. She slowed. At first, she thought it was a bag caught in the wind. Then she saw the eyes reflecting back at her. Yellow-green. Wide. Watching. Sarah's heart skipped. A dog. ## the first glimpse. Sarah stopped the car but didn't get out immediately. She had been warned about stray dogs in this area. Aggressive. Territorial. Dangerous. But this dog didn't move. It just stared. Sarah turned on her hazard lights and stepped out slowly. The rain had softened to a drizzle, but the air was freezing. Her breath came out in clouds. "Hey," she called softly. "Hey, it's okay." The dog shifted, and that's when Sarah saw them. Puppies. 3 of them. Huddled against the dog's belly. So small they could fit in Sarah's hands. Her throat tightened. The mother dog's ribs jutted out beneath matted fur. Her eyes were sunken. Her paws were raw and bleeding. Sarah took a step closer. The dog growled. Not loud. Not aggressive. Just a warning. * don't come closer. Don't touch them, *. Sarah froze. ## the discovery. Sarah crouched low, making herself smaller. "I'm not going to hurt you," she whispered. The dog's ears twitched. Sarah scanned the area. No food. No water. No blankets. Just concrete. Trash. Broken glass. And then she saw it. Tucked beneath the dog's front paw, a torn piece of fabric. Sarah squinted. It was a collar. Frayed. Muddy. But still attached to a small metal tag. Her stomach dropped. This wasn't a stray. This was someone's dog. Someone had owned her. Named her. And then left her. Sarah's hands trembled as anger and heartbreak collided. ## the choice. Sarah pulled out her phone. 1 bar of signal. Barely. She dialed the local animal shelter. No answer. She tried again. Voicemail. The rain picked up again. Thunder rumbled in the distance. The puppies squeaked, thin, desperate sounds. Sarah looked at the mother dog. Their eyes met. And Sarah understood something in that moment that would change everything. This dog wasn't asking to be saved. She was asking not to be abandoned again. Sarah made a decision. "I'm not leaving you," she said aloud. The dog tilted her head slightly. As if she understood. ## building trust. Sarah moved carefully. She opened her trunk and pulled out an emergency blanket, one she kept for winter breakdowns. She also grabbed a bottle of water and an old protein bar from her glove compartment. Not ideal. But it was something. She placed the water cap on the ground a few feet away. The dog watched but didn't move. Sarah tore off a piece of the protein bar and tossed it gently near the water. The dog sniffed the air. Hunger won. She leaned forward, just enough to grab the food, then pulled back immediately. She chewed fast, eyes never leaving Sarah. Sarah's heart ached. "You're starving," she whispered. She tossed another piece. This time, the dog took it faster. Progress. Hashtag the barrier breaks. Sarah spent 20 minutes sitting on the wet pavement. Not moving. Not speaking. Just being there. The mother dog eventually lay down, exhausted. The puppies wriggled closer to her warmth. One of them, the smallest, wasn't moving as much as the others. Sarah's chest tightened. "We need to get you somewhere warm," she said softly. The dog's ears flicked toward her voice. Sarah slowly extended her hand, palm down, non-threatening. The dog sniffed the air. Seconds stretched into minutes. Then, cautiously, the dog leaned forward. Her nose touched Sarah's fingertips. Cold. Wet. Trembling. Sarah exhaled shakily. "Good girl," she whispered. "Good girl." Hashtag the rescue attempt. Sarah knew she couldn't lift the dog and puppies alone. Not without risking injury, or breaking the fragile trust they'd built. She called her brother, Jake. "I need help," she said when he answered. "I found a dog. She has puppies. I can't leave them." Jake sighed. "Sarah, you can't save every." "Jake. Please." Silence. "Then, send me your location." 30 minutes later, Jake arrived with a crate, towels, and a bag of dog food. He took one look at the mother dog and cursed under his breath. "She's in bad shape." Sarah nodded. "I know." Jake knelt beside her. "We need to move fast. That smallest puppy doesn't look good." Hashtag the transfer. They worked together. Jake laid out towels inside the crate while Sarah kept talking to the dog in low, soothing tones. "We're going to help you. I promise." The dog watched Jake warily. When he reached toward the puppies, she snapped. Jake pulled back. "Okay. Okay. Mom's in charge." Sarah had an idea. She placed a piece of the protein bar inside the crate. The dog's nose twitched. Hunger. Desperation. Survival. She stood shakily and took one step toward the crate. Then another. The puppies squeaked behind her. She stopped. Looked back. "Bring them," Sarah urged gently. "Bring them with you." The dog seemed to understand. She picked up one puppy by the scruff, gently, instinctively, and placed it inside the crate. Then another. Then the third. The smallest one. The one that barely moved. She curled around them protectively. Sarah's eyes filled with tears. "Good girl," she whispered. "You're such a good girl." Hashtag the drive. They drove in silence. Jake navigated. Sarah sat in the back beside the crate. The mother dog never took her eyes off Sarah. Not with fear. With something else. Hope. The smallest puppy whimpered once, then went quiet. Too quiet. Sarah's breath caught. "Drive faster," she told Jake. Hashtag the emergency vet. The clinic was 20 minutes away. By the time they arrived, Sarah was shaking. They rushed inside. The vet, a woman named Dr. Patel, took one look and moved immediately. "Bring her to the back. Now." The mother dog resisted at first. But when Sarah walked with her, she followed. Dr. Patel worked quickly. Fluids. Warmth. Oxygen for the smallest puppy. "She's severely malnourished," Dr. Patel said. "Dehydrated. Likely hasn't eaten in days." Sarah's voice cracked. "Will she survive?" Dr. Patel hesitated. "We'll do everything we can." Hashtag the waiting. Hours passed. Sarah refused to leave. Jake brought coffee. Sarah didn't drink it. She just sat outside the exam room, staring at the door. Finally, Dr. Patel emerged. "The mother is stable. The two larger puppies are responding well. Sarah stood. And the smallest one? Dr. Patel's expression softened. We're monitoring her. It's touch and go. Sarah's knees weakened. Can I see them? Dr. Patel nodded. Hashtag the connection. The mother dog lay on a heated blanket, and 4 in her leg. When Sarah entered, the dog's tail thumped weakly. Once. Twice. Sarah knelt beside her. You did it, she whispered. You kept them alive. The dog licked Sarah's hand. Soft. Grateful. Sarah broke. She pressed her forehead gently against the dog's head and cried. For the cruelty of abandonment. For the strength of survival. For the fragile thread of hope that brought them together. Hashtag a name. Sarah named her Maya. Because it meant illusion in some languages and mother in others. And Maya was both. An illusion of weakness that hid unbreakable strength. A mother who sacrificed everything. Over the next week, Maya transformed. Her eyes brightened. Her coat began to shine. Her appetite returned. The 2 larger puppies, named Ash and Ember, grew strong and playful. But the smallest, Spark, struggled. Every day was uncertain. Every night, Sarah sat beside her incubator, whispering encouragement. Come on, Spark. Fight. Hashtag the miracle. On the 8th day, Spark opened her eyes fully. She squeaked, loud and demanding. Dr. Patel laughed. She wants food. Sarah cried again. Happy tears this time. Maya seemed to sense it. When Spark was finally strong enough to rejoin her siblings, Maya licked her from head to tail. Over and over. As if making sure she was real. Hashtag the decision. Sarah hadn't planned to keep them. She lived in a small apartment. Worked long hours. Traveled often. A dog, let alone 3 puppies, didn't fit her life. But when the time came to discuss fostering, Sarah couldn't say the words. Jake noticed. You're keeping her, aren't you? Sarah looked at Maya. Maya looked back. I think she's already decided, Sarah said quietly. Hashtag the adoptions. Ash and Ember were adopted together by a family with 2 young kids and a big backyard. Spark went to an elderly woman who had recently lost her own dog. Each goodbye hurt. But Maya didn't panic. Because Sarah stayed. Hashtag the transformation. Months passed. Sarah's life changed completely. She woke earlier. Walked more. Laughed louder. Maya followed her everywhere. To the park. To the coffee shop. To visit friends. People stopped to hear Maya's story. And every time Sarah told it, she felt the same gratitude. I almost didn't stop, she'd say. But something told me to. Hashtag the return. One spring morning, Sarah drove past the old parking lot. She hadn't meant to. But her route took her there. Maya sat in the passenger seat, ears perked. When they passed the spot where Sarah had found her, Maya stiffened. Sarah pulled over. You remember, she whispered. Maya stared at the crumbling brick. The broken streetlight. Then she turned away. Looked at Sarah. And her tail wagged. Because the past didn't define her anymore. Hashtag the ending. Today, Maya is a therapy dog. She visits hospitals, schools, shelters. Her story inspires thousands. Spark, Ash, and Ember thrive in their homes. And Sarah? She says that wrong turn was the best mistake of her life. Because sometimes, hope doesn't come when you're ready. It comes when you choose not to drive past. If this story touched you, share it, because someone else might be one turn away from changing a life. Like this video to help stories like Maya's reach the world. Subscribe so you never miss a reminder that compassion changes everything. And tell us. Backhand index pointing right, would you have stopped? Your answer might inspire someone else to say yes.